Greetings of peace and love, everyone. I am Tahuti Matra here on behalf of TahutiMatra.com and DHostStore.com. Today's date is December 11th, 2015. Today's date just happens to be the day that one of my favorite singers of all time, Mr. Sam Cooke, was murdered. And the purpose of this video, which is very, very, very long due. So, a lot of you people who have been waiting for this information, I need a pass. I need y'all to stay off my ass because the time has come and I'm going to deliver this information on Mr. Sam Cooke. The purpose of the video is to shed light and to give the facts. I, like many people, received the erroneous story or account of what happened to the good brother Sam Cooke, a pioneer as far as black musicians, black entertainers are concerned. Sam's story is very important to hear, especially for entertainers in general and black entertainers in particular, especially those of an entrepreneurial spirit. All entertainers don't desire to be entrepreneurs, but some do. And in the music industry, which is a part of the entertainment industry, it can be very dangerous for entertainers in general, singers in particular, to take control over their careers and their legacies. Very, very, very dangerous. And it hasn't been just Sam Cooke who has lost his life because he was smart enough and bold enough to establish, own, and control his own empire. There have been several others, and most of them have also lost their lives. The entertainment industry, like most industries here in the United States in particular, are very corrupt, rolling with greed and avarice out of this world. The penchant to rob the innocent who just happens to be creative is very, very, very unfortunate that such things exist. But when you understand the fourth ray zone, the fourth ray energy of planet Earth, it's just part of the scheme of things. And karma is being created and karma is being absolved. Of course, I'm coming from a higher spiritual perspective, which is applicable to all things. But I know a lot of people may not be ready for that and may not be able to handle that. So I'll just deal with the mundane as it relates to Sam Cooke. When I do finish the article, I will most definitely make sure that the whole spiritual metaphysical aspect of this drama is covered. Let's see here. I will begin this video on Sam Cooke based upon my personal knowledge and familiarity with Sam Cooke. I'll start there first. I first heard Sam Cooke's music in the 1978 hit film National Lampoon's Animal House, featuring my man John Belushi, whose death is also a very interesting story. We've had a lot of mysterious and interesting, fascinating deaths out here uh, in the Los Angeles area. You know, Marilyn Monroe, John Belushi, Natalie Wood, Sam Cooke, Michael Jackson, Janis Joplin. I do plan to get around and making articles and videos of these mysterious, fascinating murders, deaths of entertainers. My man River Phoenix, he was killed, yes, killed in 1993. Um, not far from where Sam Cooke spent his last hours, Sunset Boulevard. John Belushi died on Sunset Boulevard. Sharon Tate, before she was murdered, her, Jay Sebring, Wojciech Frykowski, Abigail Folger, and they ate their last meal at El Coyote on Sunset Boulevard. Oh man, it's I better get into this here because this is my area. I am a Scorpio ascendant, so I do deal with the dark side in skillful fashion. That is, I've always been attracted to certain matters that many people will call dark matter. Dark, meaning like evil, eerie, what have you. But I've been able to research and obtain or acquire great insight, without being sucked into the dark side. I know how to morph into that particular Scorpio researcher, investigate. Scorpio is the investigator. So I've been able to investigate, I've been able to research, get the information, and morph back into the researcher, of light, the researcher on the mundane, and become Tahuti Describe and write it in a way that is very unique, but also give you the facts, but also stimulate you as well to give you some things to think about on, a spiritual level. It'll make you think about your life. Maybe you desire to be an entertainer, you know, and you have to deal with managers and other people, um, people who will introduce you to, or who will try to introduce you to drugs, low vibrational sex antics, just a whole bunch of stuff, exists in that world. So, you get to read my information, you get to watch my videos, and you get to be aware of what you could possibly be introduced to or run into, have an encounter with. It's a strange world out there, When Charles Manson would go to Sharon Tate's house, which was really Roman Polanski's house. Well, it really wasn't his house. He was renting that house he was renting Polanski, yeah, was renting that house, I believe, from, was it Doris Day? I know Terry Melcher was dating Candice Bergen. Man, I forget that Hollywood actress who owned that house at 150 Cielo Drive. But nevertheless, the Polanski house. My point was Polanski did not own the house; he was renting that house. I don't think it was Doris Day because Doris Day felt bad after the murders because she did not rent a property to Roman and Sharon Tate, and had she did, then those murders may not have taken place. But Polanski did end up renting the place, um, which linked linked the property to Terry Melcher. I want to say Melcher was the daughter of Doris Day. Don't quote me on that here. It's early in the morning here. I got so much information in my head. Don't quote me on that. It may be the case. I'm not for sure right now, but I do need to get through the video. Um, but anyway, Manson was looking for Terry Melcher, and that's why he went to the Tate house. And I know I'm long overdue for a video on the Tate LaBianca murders. I've gone to the properties of where these murders have taken place, and I've been able to do my thing, get some insight, and was very gruesome, very, very, very eerie, very violent, you know, um, just picking up on the energy. And I do that, like I said, for purposes of research and then writing. When I write a certain way, or when I write, which happens to be a certain way, you get to feel things. It's almost as if you were there. Did the same thing in Amityville, the Amityville Horror House, and I know I'm just going on, but these things are all like, tied together, in the sense that there's more than meets the eye, and people have, they've been taken on a ride, it's a lot of falsehood, a lot of inaccuracies, on, these very fascinating topics, at least in my opinion. You start dealing with Bob Marley, what really happened to Bob Marley, what really happened to Bruce Lee, what really happened to Dorothy Dandridge, what really happened to Whitney Houston. It's fascinating. These are people that we grew up with. These are people we listen to. We watch them in film, and we got news one day that they just died of a drug overdose, what have you. And most people don't do their own research, independent research. I do. And when you do that and you start discovering certain things, that doesn't jive with the official story, light bulb in your head goes off. And it happens a lot, and so it really makes you start looking at the world, from a different perspective. you know you have certain thoughts. If it happened to these people, it could happen to you. These people were big time, and they were murdered, and the truth was suppressed. So if it happens to an Elvis Presley, what do you think will happen to you? Especially if you get to the level of a Elvis Presley or Whitney Houston or a Michael Jackson or a Sam Cooke. So it's stuff that make you think. I've learned a lot from Sam Cooke's story. Sam, I'm not an entertainer, but I am an entrepreneur, and from researching Sam Cooke, I've discovered that Sam and myself have very, very, very similar views. Sam, unlike myself, wasn't affiliated or associated with the Nation of Islam, but a lot of his views were shaped by the Nation of Islam, and I don't think a lot of people know that. And you have to credit the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Nation of Islam for Sam's Cooke, for his business philosophy, his economic philosophy, and then also his love of Black history. That too was enhanced by the Nation of Islam, or the teachings of the Nation of Islam. Okay, let's get back to my familiarity with Sam Cooke. I went there based upon Sunset Boulevard. I was talking about River Phoenix died on Sunset Boulevard. John Belushi, who was one of my favorite actors, comedian, was murdered, found dead on Sunset Boulevard. And Sharon Tate and the others who were murdered in 1969 ate their last meal on Sunset Boulevard. So Sunset Boulevard, in and of itself, has a very interesting history. The song, what's that? Sunset People, Donna Summer just popped in my head because of Sunset Boulevard. And I've always wanted to do something on Sunset Boulevard, and I will in the future. And most of the things that I just told you guys, and I'm just being honest here, will probably end up on the Tahuti Matra Network, which is the paid subscription channel. Well, like I said in my introductory video, the goal here is to keep these videos under 1 hour, and most will be on health. This site has to be protected because a lot of the information is controversial, and people, they will flag it, they will remove it. A lot of you're like, look, man, this dude give up so much information. I mean, at one point, after the old channel was taken down, I felt very bad because so many people, I couldn't go any place in the world without hearing about that YouTube channel. And a lot of people were affected by it, and that started to bother me, and I said to myself, if I ever bring it back, I will most definitely control it, and I'll put it someplace where it's secure and people can always go get the information. Of course, there's a site up right now at D Health Store, but I don't like the setup. I've been giving certain people an opportunity to do certain things, and it just doesn't work for me. The Kajabi thing was cool, but then there was an IT glitch, and I don't do IT, and for whatever reason it couldn't be fixed, and I had invested all this money into it, and it's just like, damn, I do this for the people. I'm not an IT person. I have no interest in IT. I just, I want to hook up with other people, and I want these people to be proficient like me. Like, when it comes to me, if you say to Hootie, come give a lecture, I'm going to drop. If you say to Hootie, make a video, I'm going to drop. If you say to Hootie, make a particular article, I'm going to drop in that article. I'm going to do me. So it's been rough over the years reaching out and networking and working with other people, and I'm not taking any jabs or what have you. I'm just explaining to the people what's going on. Like, hey man, what's going on with these subscription channels? I don't handle it. I don't build them. I don't do anything as other people. So when things happen with them, you guys come to me. Cause see, I'm bold enough to put my name on everything. So I'm the one who have to explain certain things because my name is on it. I'm out there. I'm a public person. I don't have, you know, I don't make any bones about, explaining things, being truthful. Just telling the truth is my element, and that's what I do. I just tell the truth, and that's how I live free. I'm not like a lot of people. I don't really care what you think about me, because you don't control my destiny. You know what I'm saying? You don't make my reality. You know what I'm saying? I'm in control of my life. You see, and that's the only way it's going to be. So I just give it up. I don't care. A lot of people have things to hide, and I don't want people to know about this. I don't want people to know about that. That to me, that's being fake. And fake gives off a frequency, off a vibration, and a lot of people can pick that up. Just like they can pick up truth. They can pick up a person, man, who just keep it 100. They can pick up a person who has no ulterior motive. People feel, man, people, they pick up. They're receptive. We're all receptive. So, I just keep it real. But we do have the Tootie My Raw Network. And I got to put it out there. My man Saladin is behind it, and I know hearing this, he gonna make sure that everything is straight because he know the history of the several other subscription sites I had, whereby there was issues, issues, glitches. The one that's up on thehealthstore.com, there was a problem with that, and I'm busy, so I'm not gonna try to, troubleshoot and figure some stuff out. I'm too busy, man. I'm too busy in writing and making movies and writing scripts and answering questions and educating the staff and moralizing and teaching ethics and man, I just do so much. I'm a father, I got children, so I don't have time. I just need things to just go. It's so much information. I just need people to be able to handle that information. Let's get it out to the people. I'm going to deliver, but I need other people. Like when you do your thing and you hook up with me, do your thing, meet me, match me, so we can get this thing moving and grooving because there's so much information. And I've been sitting on a lot for 2 years and I'm ready to deliver like in this video right here. My first Sam Cooke song that I remember hearing was in Animal House, Wonderful World. Wonderful World. Didn't know it was Sam Cooke, but I remember the song. It was like, okay, that's Sam Cooke. I purchased Sam Cooke's Greatest Hits. I believe that was released by RCA, who figures not. RCA is not predominant in the Sam Cooke story, but it plays a major role in, I would say, phase 2 of Sam Cooke's music slash business career. RCA played a very major role, which what I think a lot of people, especially a lot of entertainers, need to be aware of. The negotiations and the things that you can get. When you got the talent. And also when you're in the driver's seat. Because in all due honesty, companies need you. More than you as a musician or entertainer need them. Because at the end of the day, it's all about business. It's called show business, okay? And show business is 95% business, 5% show. And this is why you hear about a lot of managers like Alan Klein, who figures predominantly in the Sam Cooke story. And I know some of y'all are like, well, can you just get to it? I will. But Alan Klein, a manager, and man, it's so unfortunate. And I'll cover it here in this video, but he took Sam Cooke to the dry cleaners. And this man did something that Sam Cooke said would never happen. Sam Cooke said he was tired of black entertainers doing all the work, having all the talent, and then a white man coming along and taking everything. Sam Cooke said that would not happen to him. And ladies and gentlemen, that's exactly what happened to Sam Cooke. So my first song of Sam Cooke that I remember was Wonderful World. And then in high school, the late 80s. I attended Locke High School in South Central Los Angeles. I was developing my fondness of music and a subsequent music collection of audio cassette tapes that I started from Columbia House and RCA. I used to get the TV Guide every week, and they would have little specials, get 12 CDs or 12 cassette tapes for 1 penny, and I did that, and it was like $4 with shipping and handling. And so I started purchasing music, and I remember purchasing Sam Cooke's greatest hits, and I ascended in love with the man's music. Cupid, You Send Me, Having a Party, Bring It On Home, um, the classic that was played in the Malcolm X movie, Change Is Gonna Come, which was not on the Malcolm X soundtrack because of Alan Klein, the man who robbed Sam Cooke. That's why you didn't hear A Change Is Gonna Come on the Malcolm X soundtrack. It was in the movie, but Alan Klein, who owned the rights to Sam's music, most of his music, because Sam was with two companies, or two aspects to Sam's musical career. Hell, he owned the rights, and so he shot Spike Lee down. Said, "No, this will not be on the soundtrack." And I feel that did a disservice to that soundtrack, which was still cool, by the way. But that song really stood out in the Malcolm X movie that came out back in I believe it was '92 or '93, directed by Spike Lee. But show business is 95% business, 5% show. A guy like Sam Cooke was most definitely going to benefit from that because, he was business and he was also show. He had the talent. I remember I grew up in South Central Los Angeles, which is where Sam Cooke was murdered. And my parents, like most other people, were ignorant. They didn't know the deal. They bought the official story, and they taught us that official story. And I remember my parents, especially my father. My father was pretty much like the convoluted historian of the family. Like Pops would be the one to give you history, and the history would be just toe up. Like Pops didn't really know what the hell he was talking about, but he was passionate, man. And Pops was a Libra, so he spoke with the charm and the charisma. But just keeping it real, the maestro didn't know what the hell he was talking about. But he excited you, and you wanted to listen. And if you were impressionable like I was, you believed what he was saying, and that really messed you up. When you believe somebody that's saying some stuff that is not true, it messes you up. As it did myself, and I had to undo that thanks to my man Stevie Wonder and the song Superstition. When you believe in things that you don't understand, then you suffer. Same thing as when you believe in things that are not true, then you suffer. And I did, and I felt really bad when I discovered the truth about the good brother Sam Cooke. But Pops was like, "Yeah, man, yeah, Sam Cooke got killed with a prostitute on a Figueroa, and it's like, damn, like Sam went out like that." My mother, she regurgitated the same thing. Like, "Oh, yeah, Sam, he got killed over there on Figueroa, with a prostitute, he went crazy. Prostitute robbed him, and Sam Cooke ended up getting shot." And I believe that. Like, damn, Sam, like, you went out like that on some coochie, like, from a prostitute? And you this big time musician? It made me think. Like, damn, dude, that's a hell of a way to go out. You this big time musician, and you go out on some poontang? And that's what I believed up until 2000. 2000. My ex-wife, the Pisces, we used to listen to The Front Page here in Los Angeles. And The Front Page came on Monday through Friday, 4:30 to 6 o'clock a.m. on 102.3 FM radio, which is owned by the good brother Stevie Wonder, who's done a lot of good things for the community over the years. And The Front Page would bring on all type of guests: Dr. Sabi, Phil Valentine, Dwayne and Daryl Mooney, the Mooney twins, Dick Gregory, Shahrazad Ali, Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad. It was a great show, man. It was a great show. I believe the front page is still on, but it can never touch what was taking place in the 90s with Carl Nelson and the good brother Jamal Goree, who really made the show, Radical Brother. So it's still on with my girl Dominique, won't say her last name. I don't want to get this video flagged. And I just don't feel her, haven't felt her in a minute, so it hasn't been the same. So I don't listen to it. Back in the early 2000s, I was still listening to the front page. And it was a Friday, and playwright Jerry Jones was interviewed. And Jerry Jones was in town to premiere the Sam Cooke Inquest. That was the name of his play. It was a musical. The Sam Cooke Inquest. And I'm like, man, that's going to be cool. You and it's local too. It's going to be on Century Boulevard near LAX. There's a chain of hotels on Century Boulevard out here in Los Angeles that's near LAX. And the Sam Cooke Inquest was going to be playing at one of these hotels. I don't remember the hotel, but I do remember it was on Century Boulevard. And this was a Friday, and so the next day, my then mother-in-law kept my daughter, and my wife and I drove out to Century Boulevard. We drove to Century Boulevard, which is pretty much LAXville. That's our airport out here, LAXville. And I remember it. This is embarrassing, but it is true. It took about an hour and a half before that play to start. It was an all-black play. But, a lot of times things just happen. It's not that just blacks are just always late, man. Things do happen. Yeah, we are late, but then things do happen. And in this case, there was something going on with the bus. So I understood, but I remember being in that audience and people was just upset, man. And yeah, I wanted the play to start as well, too. But I don't know, just like the person who Taurus, we're patient, even though I've been losing a lot of my patience over the years, especially dealing with the masses of the people, because I see how far, like, underdeveloped a lot of people are, and I can't really be around people anymore. But even back then, I didn't have the social responsibility that I have today, but even back then I was patient. I really wanted to check out this inquest because I was intrigued about what I heard from Mr. Jerry Jones the previous day. And it took about a good 90 minutes for that play to start, and some people left, but I knew I wasn't leaving. And I'm glad I stayed. And so the play started. It was good music. I did notice that a lot of Sam's Cooke music that was owned by Alan Klein was not in that play. But I do remember the song, which became one of my favorite Sam Cooke songs, Another Saturday Night. I do remember them playing Another Saturday Night. And the play was cool. And the play climaxed with the inquest of Sam Cooke. It did the murder, and the play showed the murder as given to us, like Sam being shot by the Hacienda motel owner, a black woman, Bertha Franklin. It showed all of that, with coming with the broom, hitting Sam Cooke with the broom, which didn't happen in real life, and I'm going to cover that. But, Jerry's a smart dude, so, he gave it the way that it had been sold to us because, I'm quite sure Jerry didn't want to get himself in some hot water with Alan Klein and libel and slander and things of that nature. So, the play played out based upon the official story, which is BS. But then there was the inquest. The inquest is what would make certain people, such as myself, think. And I'm like, Sam's death appears to be mysterious. Things don't add up. And so I'm sitting there like, okay. And I'm not really into the whole Scorpio ascendant, side of myself. But the light bulb went on, that light bulb of research, of investigation. I need to look at this Sam Cooke thing here because, man, this dude, he's displaying some stuff I never heard. But I'm most definitely intrigued. And so the play ended, right? And so I got this, I'm in this cloud now, mentally speaking, that is, man, there's more than meets the eye, and I got to find out. So my wife had to use the restroom, and I was in the lobby of the hotel, waiting for her, using the ladies' room, restroom, and lo and behold, playwright Jerry Jones is walking, and he's walking in a line that is leading him straight to myself. Now I don't know if he was out the door or what have you, but he was walking straight towards me, and I was on some type of like pole, leaning against some type of it wasn't a pole, but just some type of I I don't know if it was to hold up the floor or something like that, but you know how it is when you're in a movie theater and there's just certain things, not necessarily like a pole, it's like a square, what have you. And I was leaning against whatever the thing was. I was leaning against it, and playwright Jerry Jones walked straight to me, and I said, "Excuse me, sir." I said, "Hey man, are you saying that Sam Cooke was set up?" The dude looked like one of my Locke High School teachers, Mr. St. Cyr. Anybody went to Locke High School and you remember Mr. St. Cyr? This is how Jerry Jones looked. He looked just like Mr. St. Cyr. I said, "Man, are you telling me that Sam Cooke was set up?" And I will never forget Jerry Jones' facial expression with such emphasis. He said, "Yeah." I was like, wow. Man, you telling me that Sam Cooke was set up? Oh, yeah. Yeah, Sam was set up. And I'm like, well, man, like, how come you didn't just come on out and just put it into play? That's what I was thinking. And Jerry Jones gave me this paper, and I need to get it out of storage. Jerry Jones gave me this. It's a gold colored paper, and he said, take this and just research the information in this little gold pamphlet that he gave me. And that put me on my journey to research, to investigate the murder of Sam Cooke, the truthful account of Sam Cooke's murder. We know he was murdered, but what's the truth? What really happened? What are the factual accounts? And that put me on my sojourn. 2 years later, after the divorce of the first wife to Pisces, I met a dude from my girl Jazz who was a colonic hydrotherapist. My man's name is Harold Acey, and you guys have heard me talk about Harold Acey. Harold Acey is also featured in Full Body Detox, the movie that's coming in a few weeks to dhealthstore.com. Make sure you sign up, and well, you don't even have to sign up. You can just purchase the download, and then the DVD will be available some days thereafter. But my man Harold Acey, when you guys hear me talk about Harold Acey, and you see him in Full Body Detox, the movie, that's my God, that's my ace right there. As a matter of fact, that's his name, Ace, Harold Acey, Ace in the place. 2 years later, I will meet Harold Acey, and Harold Acey would also drop some heavy information on me about Sam Cooke because Harold Acey knew J.W. Alexander, who was Sam Cooke's business partner. And my man Harold Acey, J.W. Alexander, and Jim Kelly, the martial arts expert who was in Bruce Lee's Enter the Dragon 1973, Ace, J.W. Alexander, and Jim Kelly used to play tennis at a park in West Los Angeles. So my man Harold Acey knew J.W. Alexander, and according to Harold Acey, he said J.W. was a fox. This dude was shady. This was the original Slim Shady, back in the 50s and 60s. And so, Harold began to explain some things to me about JW and, his nefarious antics, which really makes sense. I did the research and, a lot of things that Ace told me jived. It really jived. So I'm like, damn, boy, you got to really watch, your boys, man. And y'all know my story with my former business. Business, man, and people. It's something about money, man, that I don't know, man. I guess it just makes for interesting karmic dramas. But J.W. Alexander was Sam's boy, man, and he was in on Sam being ganked by Alan Klein, the Caucasian Jewish accountant, who will go on to screw the Rolling Stones, who will go on to screw the Beatles, play a role in breaking up the Beatles. It wasn't Yoko Ono, people. It was Alan Klein, man, who screwed the hell out of Bobby Vinton. He got Sam first, but this dude got everybody. Alan Klein is on record saying, my clients who are entertainers, Mick Jagger, the Beatles, etc., or et al., Alan Klein said, my clients screw groupies, and I screw my clients. I'm like, that's a bold statement. But you know what? That was Alan Klein. That was Alan Klein. So I meet my man Ace in 2002 after the divorce. Man, Ace was very instrumental in my life. Man, I learned so much from Ace. Ace helped to bring so much out of me, especially astrology. But Ace was very instrumental in providing information on Sam Cooke, at least as it relates to JW, because Harold Acey never met Sam Cooke, but he knew J.W. Alexander, so he knew J.W.'s personality. And then I came across information from Sam's nephew, Eric Green. Um, I started purchasing the books. Anytime there was some mention of Sam Cooke, I would purchase the information because that's just how I do, whether it's a magazine, newspaper, book. I get it. I own it. That's why you see all these books here. This part of the bookshelf is empty because I'm reshuffling the books. I have a lot of new books, so I have to put those into rotation. So I'll get the information, and I got all the information on Sam Cooke. I came up with so much information that a few people, two people from Sam Cooke's family reached out to me, and then there was another person that was deep into Sam Cooke research that reached out to me as well, and they were just blown away at how I could just put all of this stuff together. But it took me years, people. It took me years. Um, Once I got all of the information, I was able to, really speak boldly in the public about what happened to Sam Cooke. As a matter of fact, there's a video here on YouTube, and I forget the brother's name, but you can read the words. It's about what happened to Sam Cooke, and he took that from an article that I wrote. I may have written the thing and put it on Facebook, or maybe it was from Farrakhan Factor, or one of these community forums I used to be on, and it was pretty much an article. But back then, I used to just drop on community forums, I guess, just to express myself, and that was before I learned about writing ebooks and e-articles. But there's a video on Sam Cooke, what happened to Sam Cooke, and the words that you see on the screen are my words that I dropped on a social media site. I don't recall right now, but that's where it was, because I never made an article on Sam Cooke, and it wasn't taken from any of my business websites. So it came from that social media, and I saw it, and I'm like, wow, like, man, like, okay, I remember writing that, and he mentions my man Harold Acey and just a whole bunch of good stuff. And I'm cool with it because I want the information, to get out there. And it was a cool video, and he relied upon my information. And if he was ever called on, like, yo, where you get this stuff from, all he got to do is contact Hootie Matra, and I'll give him the references. I'm not big on that, right? I'm not big on giving the references and the resources because I reside in a library, so I have thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon thousands of books, and I can't be giving references and resources to everybody who asks for them. And a lot of people, if you give it to them, it's like, oh, okay, I just want to see if you had it. So I don't have time to waste because I could be making videos like this. So I got all the information, and I began to go public with Sam Cooke's murder. And then in 2000, I would say 2004, 2005, I was residing at 204 East Lomita, which was not far from this major cemetery that we have in here in Glendale in the LA area, Forest Lawn. The Forest Lawn Cemetery in Glendale has the most celebrities buried there. James Stewart, Sam Cooke, Dorothy Dandridge, Michael Jackson is there. It's like Hollywood's cemetery. Most people don't know that Glendale is like Hollywood number two, but most celebrities are buried in this cemetery, Forest Lawn in Glendale, California. Um, that was several blocks from where I resided, 204 East Lameda. And I remember walking. I used to walk sometimes to Barnes and Noble late at night on a Sunday, and it was just an eerie feeling because the city, at that time, 10:30ish on Glendale Avenue, uh, it's almost like barren. Lights are on, what have you, but you don't see any cars, what have you, and it's just kind of dark and gloomy. And I would walk there to Barnes and Nobles from 204 East Lomita, and that cemetery was down the street south of me. And man, I used to sense. I don't want to say that I saw, but I used to sense like souls walking up and down Glendale Avenue. And one particular Sunday, I just sensed like Sam Cooke. And I don't know, it's because, I would have Sam Cooke on my mind. Like, I got to write this article, I got to do something, you know. But one Sunday, it was pronounced. And I wrote it off because I didn't do nothing. I didn't write the article. I wasn't doing videos back then. So, I didn't write the article. I didn't do anything with the information. And I just let it go. And then I remember my wife and the children went out of town to the Bay Area, and I was at the house. This was Cleveland Road. So this was about 2009. I was home alone, and I felt an eerie presence. I was upstairs in the guest room, which is where I used to research, and I felt an eerie presence. And I remember going to sleep and Sam Cooke being in the dream. And then I woke up again, realizing that I was there by myself. And just the eeriness. Suffice to say, people, that from walking down Glendale Avenue or Boulevard that particular night, being in the house by myself, having a dream about Sam Cooke, I just deduced, okay, this dude here is one of these individuals that I read about who's pissed off that he's dead. Because it's a similar scene. There's a movie with Denzel Washington called Heart Condition with Bob Hoskins, one of my favorite movies. And, Denzel's character gets murdered. And so his character can't go into the light. His character can't move on because he was murdered. And from my research of a lot of dead people, they can't move on. They're in between worlds. They can't move on. They've been wrong. They still identify with the third dimension. They have been wrong. They have been murdered. And they're pissed off. Take the movie Ghost, for example. Remember the guy riding on the subway train? He's dead in real life, too. The gory looking dude, the white dude with the stringy hair and the bubbly eyes. And he was riding the subway train, and Patrick Swayze's character was seeking him out. And there's a scene in the movie Ghost. That's the movie Ghost with, I'm talking about the movie Ghost with Demi Moore and Patrick Swayze and Whoopi Goldberg. Classic film, by the way. Patrick Swayze's character seeks this dude out who rides the subway train. He only rides the subway train. That's his hangout. But the dude is pissed off. The dude is angry. And there's a scene in the movie where the dude says, "You think I jumped, didn't you?" Assuming that Swayze's character was thinking that he committed suicide. "You think I jumped, into onto the train tracks and was ran over by a subway train. You think I jumped?" And dude was pissed off. He was like, "I didn't jump." He said, "I was pushed. Somebody pushed him." And he lost his life. And he was pissed off. And so he hung out in the subway station. And a lot of people, the dearly departed, especially the recently dearly departed, they hang out in places where, their crime took place, where their murder took place. Whether it's a house, whether it's a school, whether it's a battlefield, a road, what have you. Dude was killed in the subway station in New York City, and that's where he hung out. That was his last stomping ground. And Patrick Swayze meets him there. And, you know, if you saw the movie, then you understand what took place, how the dude ended up teaching Patrick Swayze some good information, some damn good information um, that I think people really need to pay attention to, because even though Patrick Swayze character was dead, the dude was still breaking down about, you know, focus, you know, the power of focus. And that's a whole nother video. But it dawned on me. I said, Sam Cooke is one of these dudes who pissed off because, man, the world got the story that this dude was with a prostitute, that he tried to rape a prostitute, man, and ended up being murdered. And that's the story. And I know how that would feel if I was wrongly accused of some stuff, man. And then it goes down in history like that. So it clicked. I said, Sam is one of those angry dudes. And it was no coincidence, man, that I would be having these eerie feelings. But, you know, it took me some time to deduce that, okay, hey, this is how your attention is gotten. Like, these people, they don't want to frighten you. You know, they don't want to frighten you, but it's like if you're a certain individual that have the information and that can get it done, then they're going to mess with you in a friendly type of way. I'm not saying that I was haunted by Sam Cooke, what have you, but I do connect to the other side, big time. I do connect to the other side, and I've made videos in the past about, you know, knowing that my father came to see me right before he checked out. You know, Andrea's father came to see me. I knew he was dead before anybody else. You know, I woke up and was like, your pops is gone. And they got the news 2 hours later. You know, so I do travel, you know, to the other side. And I've always had that ability, you know. And of course, I was afraid of it as a little boy. You know, I came up in a typical Christian family. And y'all know me and Christians, like, these are some of the most ignorant people. And good people, but just ignorant. They will mess you up when it comes to metaphysics and the spiritual world and astral traveling. They will just mess you up, talking about the witches riding you and all type of crazy stuff, you know. So I always had to give. What I'm saying, people, is I always had the gift, but, you know, my family members, my parents could not cultivate it. I had to do it on my own, you know. So doing it on my own, getting in my own space and dealing with the metaphysical tools, you know, accepting the fact that, you know, hey, I'm a male witch, the wizard, the wise man, what have you. You know, I'm into, you know, psychic healing. You know, I'm into the occult, you know, so-called paganism and all this stuff that's verboten and taboo and you're supposed to stay away from. Well, I didn't stay away from it, and it changed my life. Astrology, you know, figures into things. Hey, you Scorpio ascendant, you research, investigate the dark side. You don't have to be afraid. You can go to the dark side and get information, and then you can come back on the side of light. You don't have to get stuck there, and I understand that. So that's why I can deal with the Manson murders and the Hillside Stranglers and the Night Stalker and the Zodiac Killer. And no, I don't want to be the Zodiac Killer. I don't want to murder. I don't want to rape women. I don't want to do any of that stuff there. You know, it's fascinating to me to get the information and share it with the people, give people the truth. This is the truth about Sharon Tate and the Manson murder. This is the truth about Sam Cooke. You know, this is the truth about Natalie Wood. This is the truth, people. Ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. So I got it. All right, Sam. All right. I got to tell you a story, man. You know, and you know, this piece is out there. But my gift is synchronization, synchronizing all information and making it fascinating, and also making it into pabulum, which is like baby food. You know, I break it down whereby the average person can understand. You don't need a big collegiate dictionary to read my articles. All right, Sam, I got it. I got it. It's what I want to do. You know, I want to set the story straight for Marilyn Monroe. I want to set the record straight for Sam Cooke. You know, I want to set the record straight for Bob Marley. I want to set the record straight for all these people. I want to set the record straight for Gary Webb. You know, I want to set the record straight for Michael, what is his name? Michael Rupert, you know, who was murdered a year ago, so-called suicide. Gary Webb, who gave us the information about the CIA crack cocaine connection, suicide, BS. And the story needs to be set straight. So I started the article many years ago. And I wasn't in a rush to finish it because so much information comes to you, and then also information on how to connect things and what to share. So the information was started in article form. I'm I'm dealing with the conclusion right now, and I'm going to drop it on dhealthstore.com. I don't want to condense it either. You know, a lot of people complain that my videos are too long, the articles are too long. I don't do things for people like that. I do things for people who want it. So I'm just going to drop the article as is. It's long, it's good information if you want it. So I'm here today, December 11, 2015. Got the article. I just have to do the conclusion because a new book just came out on Alan Klein. See, that's why I wait as well, too. And there was some great information on Alan Klein and also Sam Cooke. So, boom. I dropped some heavy stuff on a social media site. Some dude got it up. Great information. Research it, find it. You know, the murder of Sam Cooke or what happened to Sam Cooke. You know, input that on YouTube and that video will pop up. You'll see words about Sam Cooke. You'll see something about Otis Redding was killed 3 years to the date of Sam Cooke, December 10th, 1967. Sam Cooke was murdered December 11th, 1964. You know, all of that stuff, man, I dropped on some social media site, and this dude got it in the video, and it's all good, accurate information. So I get the information on Sam Cooke's murder, and now I'm responsible for sharing it with the world. Sam Cooke was an Aquarius, which means he was a pioneer. He was a unique cat. Sam Cooke knew he was going to be an entrepreneur. He knew he was going to work for himself. Sam used to get little ice cream sticks and stick it in the ground. And his brother would ask him, like, Sam, what are you doing? And Sam would say that this is my audience. I'm going to sing to the audience. He said, I'm not going to have a job. He said, my job is going to be singing to the people. And when you understand, when you're doing what you love, it's not a job. And Sam knew that. And lo and behold, that's what happened to Sam Cooke. Sam Cooke, like many black entertainers, came up, well, not entertainers, but entertainers in general, singers in particular. Most of them got their start in the church. You know, Marvin Gaye, Aretha Franklin, Stevie Wonder. You know, African Americans, you know, our history here in America is 3/4 the Christian church. 3/4 of our existence, our history, it deals with the church. That's why we can't get away from the church. Even like right now, you know, all this information, Jesus Christ never existed, white folks use it to enslave. We can't get away from the church. It's just a part of our makeup now. You know, it's probably in our DNA. Go to church, join a church. It's probably in the DNA. But Sam Cooke started out in the church with a gospel group called the Soul Stirrers, excuse me. Sam was the lead singer. And Sam had that penchant, man, for leadership and also for being an entrepreneur even back then. But Sam was a smart cookie, man. Sam Cooke was a smart cookie. Sam knew. Now there were a lot of great gospel singers. I mean, you know, when you think of the staple singers, they started off at first in the gospel sector, and Sam Cooke said something that was very truthful too about gospel singers going secular, and their best music is made in that secular sector of life, and I agree with that. See, it's something about religion, Christianity, but I can say the same thing about Islam and Judaism, just man-made religion. It's something about man-made religion that suppresses. The best doesn't come out of you. You know, and I'm not trying to indict or take jabs at any religion, man. I'm just speaking objectively. Some of you agree with me, some of you don't, and that's cool. But it's something about religion that suppresses. Now, we all know it suppresses sexually, big time. You know, we know why, you know, what goes on in the church goes on in the church. You know, we know why the church girls are the biggest hoes, the biggest hoochies, and the biggest hizzos on planet Earth. We know why. Okay, because religion suppresses sexually in an age where it's not supposed to, so people are going crazy now with it. But it also suppresses creativity. And I'm not saying that a lot of good cannot come out of gospel music, man, because, you know, I enjoy Yolanda Adams and Hezekiah Walker and you know, Fred Hammond, and, you know, I have all their CDs. So I'm not saying that, you know, if you're a gospel singer that, you know, you cannot creatively express. I'm not saying that at all. But it is truthful that the individuals who started off in gospel music, their best music was made when they came outside of gospel. And that's true for Stevie Wonder. That's true for Marvin Gaye. That's true for Sam Cooke. That's true for the staple singers. It is, and the numbers don't lie. And the money came from secular music and not gospel music. The exception to the rule, he's not the only exception to the rule, but I would say that this dude is the premier exception to the rule, and that's Mr. Kirk Franklin, because Frank fused that R&B vibe with the gospel vibe, especially with the song Stomp. And a lot of Christians gave Kirk Franklin hell. I defended Kirk Franklin back then because I knew what Kirk Franklin was doing. And I saw the impact of his music in South Central Los Angeles. I heard people, I witnessed people bumping Stomp, on their big Sir Vega speakers and their big power driver speakers, being in their Suzuki Jeeps, and their Cutlasses, what have you, thug gangster type dudes, with the Christian hotties, because I think it's like that around the nation, but here in South Central, the Christian girls were with the thug dudes. And I understand that dynamic now, so you see the thug dudes in all type of cars with the little Christian hottie girl, or sometimes she wasn't a Christian girl, she just, female, but they were listening to gospel, well, not gospel, but they were listening to Kirk Franklin, which was, gospel infused with R&B. So Kirk Franklin was smart in that respect, and Sam Cooke, he understood that dynamic, even though Sam didn't mix the two, at least not initially, because Sam did do some things with gospel later on, but it just wasn't what Kirk Franklin did. What Kirk Franklin did, man, that was unprecedented, and I still give that brother props. So Cooke realized that the money is not in gospel music. That's where the people are. That's where the women were. Sam Cooke got in trouble with the women in the church. Typical story. But that's where the women were in church, the gospel sector. That's where our people were. That's where the youth were back then. They're not there now. They're in the streets now. But that's where the children were. The church was it, man. You wanted black people, you had to go to church. If you wanted to speak to the community, you had to go to church. However, there were a lot of our people outside of the church and who had an existence outside of the church. And that existence outside of the church also had a music that was outside of the church called secular music. And in all due honesty, a lot of people back then called it the devil's music. The devil's music. Even Papa Cooke, Sam Cooke's father, Papa Cooke, he didn't like Sam leaving the gospel arena or the gospel sector to deal with secular music. But I'll tell you, if Sam was not that bold Aquarian person that he was, the pioneer, Aquarius is the pioneer. If Sam was not the pioneer, I probably would not even be talking about Sam Cooke in this video today. Sam was a pioneer. And Sam was bold. And Sam had to go against the church. Sam had to go against his friends. Sam had to leave certain women alone in the church. There's certain women, like, if you leave the church, then you can't mess with me. We can't be together. So Sam had to deal with that. Sam had to really go up against a lot of people in order to do what he knew was right. He was a visionary. You see, the visionary can see things that other people cannot see because they lack vision. See, only the visionary and visionaries can see the vision. You see, the followers, the employees, the flunkies, the groupies, they don't see. They don't see. They get on board once something is manifested. Oh, wow, man, that's what you was trying to do. Well, I'm down. Let me come on board and everything. Give me some money. Hands out. Give me some money. Give me some money. But see, the visionary always knew. I want you guys to stay tuned for part 2 of the murder of Sam Cooke. I'm coming to the 1 hour time frame, and so I need to end now in preparation of part 2 to keep this video under 1 hour.